Well, here we are. It is, whoa, I was getting my lighting right. Um, it's the morning cup, and while we wait for our guest, Doris Cassatt, to join us, good morning from my home in Glendale, Colorado, or outside of Cherry Creek. Where are you calling in from
I'm
today?
on the other side. I'm in Broomfield, so halfway between Boulder and Denver. So we got the Colorado covered here.
We've got it covered. And then our offices are just west of the Capitol building. And we were just talking about how they're boarded up, although we're able to still work from there. And it's kind of like no man's land downtown. But thankfully, Coloradans haven't done anything crazy post-election. So downtown is still intact.
Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome to the Morning Cup. We do this every Thursday morning. It's powered by SecondActWomen, a powerful community that Lupe and I have co-founded a couple of years back that is rescripting ageism today and proving not necessarily that we need to prove who we are, but showcasing what it's like to be over 40 and 50, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Absolutely.
We're fighting against the ugly.
That's a good way to say it. Yes.
Yes. And so I'm going to admit I'm grumpy today. So, that's a part of being real. And I just want to let everybody know I'm not my typical self today. And I don't know why. I think it has some of it is left over from yesterday's conversation with Dr. Finney, which is a conversation we're going to talk about. We talked about living to exist, where we're just existing and or living. And most of the ladies on the call yesterday were, including myself, were admitting that we're just existing. Although, for myself, I love what I do every day in my career, which is SecondActWomen. On the flip side, I am not living. And I think a lot of us are not living. And Lupe, you talked about some things, not that you need to admit it here on LinkedIn and Facebook, but you're going through a couple of things as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about the whole idea of, have we been living life on autopilot, and all of a sudden, is it that just COVID accentuated it and put a spotlight on it? And, I think partially that is true. I think it all of a sudden shoved everything to the forefront. But I think too, I don't know if it's kismet, where you just sometimes when negative SHIT happens, all of a sudden more stuff seems to come your way. And that's been the last couple of months for me. Going through some stuff personally at home with my son and with my husband, and trying to kind of get my bearings with just life. And it's one of those where, it can be all consuming. And I think a lot of women on yesterday's call were talking about just feeling stuck and not feeling needed, which was, it was nice from the idea that at least we know we're not alone in it. Right. There's other people feeling the same way. It kind of sucks though, that we're feeling this way, like your admission today that you're like, I'm just not firing on all cylinders today.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I told Lupe, as a matter of fact, before we got on, I had to go off screen and take breaths because I'm in a very sensitive mood today and have been over the last couple of days. Now, I'm excited because I'm going to admit the way the election is going. And yes, I normally try to steer away from politics, but I'm going to admit that I am thrilled about what's happening. And I feel like my brain, I'm able to sleep. That is a good thing. A little bit lighter. But yeah, I think I'm just burned out. I think it really comes down to burned out. And so I just need, I admitted yesterday in a Slack message to you that I'm going to take a little break. I've got to take a little break. I'm on all cylinders all the time when it comes to SecondActWomen. And like we were saying yesterday about existing, I didn't realize, and a lot of those other women didn't realize, that we have been existing even pre-COVID. That literally, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you are living your life. And yeah, we're diving right in, by the way, into the topic before we talk about, talk with Doris from HBO and talk about career swiveling. We're just diving right in because we're all in it.
Yeah.
I need a break. I need a fucking break. And I said it. I said that on LinkedIn.
What I'm really digging right now is just your genuine authenticity. I think that a lot of people probably would be like, I'm going to just swallow my emotions. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to admit that I'm going to just kind of roll with it, which a lot of us do. And a lot of us do well. And so for you to kind of admit that, hey, today is just like, I'm not on my game and there's something here that I need to acknowledge is huge. Because I think a lot of people sometimes think that it's easier to not acknowledge and just say, I'm going to just go with it and fake my way through it. But now's not the time to fake it, ladies. Like now's the time to really lean into your emotions. And I was reading a cool article the other day about feeling your feels and being okay with it and not feeling like what's wrong with me, start that whole self-judgment process rather than just say, it's okay for me to feel this way right now. It's not a forever thing.
And you know what? Dr. Finney said something yesterday because you know me, it's when I break down and cry, it's like it's taken a lot to get me to that point because you'll try to get me to open up and you'll know when I'm in a mood, which is, this morning. And I will.
No, I couldn't figure it out.
I will hold on to it. Yeah. And I even said, I feel like you're picking on me all week. And I, it takes a lot and I'm realizing it is okay, much like I did back in February when I had a little bit of a breakdown on social. I mean, inside of Second Act Women, I'm realizing it's okay to be vulnerable, or it's not even being vulnerable; it's being real. Because I'm a happy-go-lucky person. So are you, but it's not every day that you could put your smile on when just got when life is happening. So I mean, when you talk about suffer the suffers, that's what it was. Suffer the suffers. I was like, ooh, that's deep, Dr. Finney.
Yeah. And what I loved about it is that I think now more people are realizing that they need to ask for the help. Like right now, I'm going through some well, not right now. I have been going through some major shit. I'm going to call it for what it is, with my husband, who we just celebrated 25 years in October. But for the past 10 years, it's been rough. I mean, like divorce idea rough. And I just started therapy.
You're getting that out loud, girl.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to follow your about it.
You are being real.
And I just started therapy on Sunday. Seeing, you know what, I need to make sure that if I am going to stay, that I stay and I invest and I am committed. If I walk away, then I'm going to feel good about walking away and feeling like, hey, I did what I needed to do to get to where I need to be, right? And so what I'm realizing, though, is that many of us oftentimes think that we have to figure out everything on our own. And we don't. Like there are experts out there. There are communities. There are people who are like, you know what, let me lend you a helping hand, because last time I checked, I'm not a marriage expert, and I'm kind of figuring my way through it. And so if I can have other insight, that's a good thing to have. And it could be the saving grace, honestly.
Yes. And I love that people are jumping in. Of course, my dog just heard your voice after watching dog TV, and now it's to get all in it.
Hey, that's my aunt.
Wants to get in this and her new haircut. Anywho, I love you being real, because that's not something ever since I've known you since 2010 that you would be open about, and you've always been closed, and I had to pry open what's happening. And I love the fact that you literally just admitted that divorce was an option, and you guys just came from a 25-year anniversary trip to Jackson Hole on Jelly. But it's interesting that you're putting you first. And a lot of us, especially moms and wives, and even business owners, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm married to my job. You're married to your husband, your kids, your job, your workouts.
Well, we all have things that we put in front of us. Like, sadly to say, and Dr. Finney had talked about it, women are notorious for prioritizing everybody else, everything else, deadlines included, work, whatever it might be. We're notorious for prioritizing that before us.
That's right.
And I'm guilty. I'm going to admit it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's beautiful to finally start to recognize, and maybe that's been the silver lining. I mean, interestingly enough, this has been a crappy year, but the silver linings have definitely been very prominent. In this case, women, we need to start to recognize that we matter too. And then
and it looks like somebody else here just said recently made a tough decision. Lupe, that's they're in the same process as you. And it's interesting. It's a good thing that you and I are different in ways, because women can relate to us and we can relate to other women in different ways. Because I'm representing the single woman who has a business with no kids. You're representing the woman who's got a college graduate now and an engineering degree. I always got to throw that out there because I think that's fantastic.
I'm proud of her.
Right? You've got a high schooler who's going through it and is in California, because of COVID, he can learn anywhere, but he's out there. You're going to join him next week. You've got a husband, you've got a dog,
and a cat,
a son-in-law, and you're going through some shit. And we're both going through it in different ways. And, I'm glad I opened up. I'm so glad we're talking about this because,
no, girl, you know what? Okay, so we're going to totally hijack it because Doris is having some technical issues. So I just texted her and said, hey, you know what? We'll have you on next time. I think right now, the pre-conversation behind the scenes, you admitted that you felt like I was picking on you during, the week. And I got to say, I hesitated to actually go into it because I was like, I don't want to rock the boat for the morning cup. Like I want to, make sure that we have a conversation. But you know what? It's interesting. And this is something that I got to say I love about us. And I invite women to do this is every time we have an issue with each other, we're always the first to say, hey, you know what, Barb, I've got an issue with you. Or, hey, Lupe, I feel like. And it doesn't fall on deaf ears, which I think is the beauty of working through your stuff. Because not everybody's got that ability.
Nobody, and that used to be hard for me. I would just I wouldn't open it. I mean, that was hard for me. And I love it. This is a true sisterhood. And I just think we're both on each other's nerves this week. Let's just face it. We're on a lot of nerves this week because we've been working. We just got off the Biz Life Con. So anything I say is going to annoy you. Anything you say is going to annoy me because we're both trying to pick up the slack in different areas. Like, hey, girl, did you get this? And you're like, and hearing him saying, girl, it's episode 21. And you're like, well, it wasn't on the document. Well, if you go back, it's like,
the little things that all of a sudden you're just like, mother trucker, like seriously. But you know what? But I think, okay, so shout out to
Jeff. Y'all know what's going on between, because this happens with us. But we always laugh about it later.
Well, and that, again, that's why I think I know I cherish our relationship for that reason. No relationship. And I think that's why I'm going to therapy, even with my husband right now. No relationship. I don't care if it's a daughter, mother, if it's a friend, if it's an intimate relationship, there's complications. But it all starts with talking the stuff through. And I think that was the gift from yesterday's session with Dr. Finney. And then, the things that we're doing independently with our own, counseling that we're going through is this idea of we're so judgmental of ourselves that we're sometimes afraid to ask for the help because we're afraid of what those experts are going to see in us and the mirror that they're going to hold up to us. And I think it all comes down to once you start to talk it through, you start to walk, like literally for me, talking it through right now with you, I'm like, okay, I feel like we're getting off the ledge. We're on ground floor now. But it wouldn't have happened had you not had the courage to say, Lupe, you're getting on my nerves, or I feel like you're on my nerves, and me now being willing to say, let's talk this through, Barb. Like, I didn't mean it. And so if my tone was off, then my bad,
Yeah, I just think it's
something, right?
Yeah, because I have to say, I don't hold much back. And especially as I get older, right? I'm not fearful of how people are going to perceive me anymore or what do they think, because I really don't care because this is me. I'm a good person. I, like anybody else, like you and others, we have hiccups. Yeah. We have things going on in our heads or minds or hearts or guts, whatever, that makes us not perfect. And yeah, I was grumpy this morning. And it just took one thing, and I came in ready to go, and then we just had this little thing, and then I don't know, I was already in a mood, I guess, over the last couple of days, and not again because of politics, but it's the existing. And so yeah, I'm glad. I hope you guys are okay with it, but
we just totally hijacked the show. But you know what? I think what's interesting is seeing some of these comments that are flooding in is that
I didn't want to be here this morning. I literally wanted to sleep in. I didn't want to put my lashes on today. I was this close because I'm also catching a cold, so I think it's that, and I rarely get colds. So I've been drinking orange juice all day, but literally I was going to call you and say, girl, can you do this show yourself? Like I was in that much of a mood. Yeah. But I'm like, I can't leave my girl high and dry. So instead I get on and I'm grumpy, and now I'm feeling better.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you a big air hug.
And I have on.
All right, ladies and gents, y'all are getting the back end scenes of what a true partnership looks like right now.
Right now. And I have on, and I'm so excited to wear our new shirt.
It looks spiff, girl. I like it with that blazer.
Right? I like the color. So anyway, yeah, this is the back end stuff as we wait for our guests. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I love Verona Matthews.
This is like open mic. This is open mic morning.
Oh, girl. Yes. It says we love the honesty.
We don't always have to be literally, ladies and gents. We have a run of show, and we have everything down to the line because that's how we roll. And we just decided, even when you weren't here last week, and I had Debbie Shearer on, that once a month we're just going to go open mic, and I think we're doing open mic again today. Doris is in New York City, and she's trying to upload her StreamYard. But yeah, let's go for it. What's out there?
I'm loving these comments. Yeah. You're like, bring it on, bring it on. No, I love these comments. So like Tracy is saying, she's like, I have to talk it through with my husband as we are on each other's nerves as of late too. So, I mean, you know what? Interesting. You've had some friends who even have like said, like COVID has actually helped me like move forward with my decision, whether that's to stay or even get divorced. But it's like, it's interesting. I think this now, whether it's we're living in close proximity to each other and the intensity of just not being able to go outside anymore and interact and kind of blow off some of those initial fights or conversations that now they seem to just stack and build upon each other, that I think a lot of, it sounds like a lot of our ladies too are going through the same stuff, which is
great. And by the way, Tracy, I'm going to get the orange juice right now as she holds the tight. And yes, so continue. Really quick.
So even Adriana, like, girl, thanks for being honest. Cause I know you have had a rough year too, girl, with, just everything that's been going on in your world. And now you're starting a new business. But even prior to that, with your accident and all that, he says, my husband and I had a real tough conversation. That was a borderline fight. But we were able to de-escalate enough to talk things through. We were exhausted, but relieved we talked it through. And that's where I'm at. And I think that's where I'm looking to therapy to just give me the tools to be able to say, let me express what I want. Let me identify what I want. And if you can give that to me, husband of mine, awesome. We will stay in this marriage. If you can't, then I need to be okay with also being true to myself and saying, I'm going to walk away then. Thank you. Maybe you have no more gifts to share with me.
Yeah. And God, I love this open conversation. It's so funny because even before we got on air, thank you, Cheryl, out of California. I will take some multivitamins. Thank you. I'm digging this open night. Mike, for those of you that are joining us, I started the show by saying I'm grumpy. I'm not anymore. I'm getting out of it because Lupe tends to always do that for me, and also being live, and this is fun. But then we started talking about yesterday's conversation that Dina Jones and some others and Consuelo were on the phone with Dr. Finney about existing versus living. And a lot came to the forefront that a lot of us admitted that we're just existing and have been pre-COVID. And when we say that, meaning if you really think back, and I want you to post here, think back prior to COVID, especially if you're a business owner, it seems, or if you had lost your job pre-COVID, think about how were you living or were you merely existing pre-COVID?
And talk a little bit about, you found like a cool definition or idea behind what it means to be existing. Can you share that so that
let me pull it up. Let me pull it up, and I'm going to it was
them a
really
point of reference. Yeah, a point of reference on what the two distinctions are.
Living versus existing.
I'm looking that up. If you guys missed it, like the stream was very powerful in the Second Act Women Facebook, so you guys should definitely look into that.
Yeah,
because it was women were just sharing about, you know, how they're existing, and what's interesting is I think some of them didn't recognize or realize they were existing until you put the question out there, and they were like, self-reflection, oh snap,
self-reflection.
I'm doing this. Yeah.
Well, and what I love is that we came out of yesterday's session with ideas as this pulls up, and I'll bring that up. I don't know why it's taken a minute to living versus existing, but you know, some ideas came up, and we're all going to hold each other. I was looking all over the place. We're all going to hold each other accountable as to, all right, Dina is one of them. What are we going to do to hold each other accountable to start living, to start living? Okay, here it is. Here is the living is taking life as it comes, embracing it, and doing as much as you can to feel fulfilled. Existing is a long survival. Living is choosing happiness. It's choosing to live. Existing is you being physically, but doing what you have to do to get through the day only. Those are some of the differences. Living life is embracing every moment as it comes, not merely breathing and doing the daily chores. That's deep, because that's what a lot of us are doing. You have a routine, and you're getting up every day and you're doing that. Lupe, you have a routine, and even though you're out working out in the morning, I feel like you're probably just doing a little of existing right now because of what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think anybody who says that they're not needs to really do some additional reflection or looking in the mirror, to be honest. And I'm going to call you out on that, because I feel like, given the circumstances that we are all in, we're dealing with some heavy things. And some of us are going to choose to face it head on and learn from it, cry our way through it, work our way through it, and others are going to choose to circumvent. And so Second Act Women is all about saying, girl, it's going to be a tough road, but you got to go through it. You can't go around it. That's and right. Now is the time that will define the character. It will bring out the character that you will need to rely on and use in order to get going again in 2020.
Excuse me. Yes. Preach.
Mic drop.
Okay, right. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you a few tips from yesterday.
Awesome.
And you know, by the way, Lupe and I were talking even just for a split second as we were waiting for Doris to jump on.
Oh, she's not going to be able to join us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Said on her, so she apologized. So we will have her back at another show.
Perfect. We talked about even doing some afternoon, maybe even doing once a week or from time to time, opening up and doing more of an evening fireside chat through live conversations, so that we can have more of these deeper conversations. Because, I was not. Oh, okay. I'll let you do. So anyway, so we'll let you know when we do that, guys. We're thinking about doing some fireside chats. Highlights from the call with Dr. Finney. By the way, we learned about Dr. Finney through Energize Colorado. One of our, we're ambassadors of theirs now. I think we're their first ambassadors.
Yes, we are.
Yes. We love everything that they are doing for our community of women, our community of minorities, our community of veterans, and our community of rural businesses out throughout Colorado. So Dr. Finney is a psychologist, and what I love about her is she is in it with us, in that she's 63, I believe it is, and so she's been there, done that, and all of that. So here are 3 tips, and this is what we're all holding each other accountable for, and we're going to do a weekly call. Those of us that were on the call yesterday, and whoever wants to join in, tip number 1 is being productive. This is, again, about living and getting out of your head and starting to live versus exist. Being productive doesn't mean it all has to be work related. Consider volunteering, and there are several platforms out there throughout the United States. The one of them in Colorado is called Spark the Change Colorado. We'll post the link. Actually, I think we have. Yeah, there we go.
I got you. You just go on the. I got you on the banners.
Yeah, or find. And even though we are living in these, crazy times, which won't last again, go out, see if there's an organization out there that can use your services, even if it's in admin or or marketing or graphics or operations. There are companies out there that are looking, or charities that are looking for people to help them in other ways. One of my favorites has always been Ronald McDonald House. That was one that I always said, don't get me a birthday gift. We're going to Ronald McDonald House. And it just popped up on my memories not long ago.
And you used to make cool meals for them, for like families that were in there. It was part of your, I thought that was actually a really beautiful way to kind of celebrate your birthday.
It was so fun. And then some of my friends would bring their kids, so they would also learn about giving. And so we'll go back to that. And here's another tip is build you time into the calendar. And I believe in that. And I think, we all need to do that. So not just say you're going to do something, but build it into your calendar, whatever device, whatever mechanism you use, if it's Google calendars, if it's writing it, whatever it is. She said, build you time and literally spend an hour this weekend. This is another one that isn't on this list, but spend an hour, which is going to be difficult for a lot of us, to in silence and just start writing down things that we would like to do or want to do or haven't done. Instead of having the woulda, shoulda, couldas, why don't we just create this list of things, what I call a live life list that you could do. And also, if you don't want to write a list, just enjoy the silence. Like Depeche Mode, enjoy the silence.
Oh, you guys didn't see the morning serenade coming at you, did you? And you know what was, actually, I really like that band. But what was cool on that note too was, and I know that a couple of the ladies on the call were like, whoa, I could do that. But she also said, sit still for an hour, or as long as it takes until you are like going to get up to do something that you genuinely want to do, not have to do. Genuinely want to do that brings joy to you, that you'd be excited to get up for. And if you can't find anything, then you sit there until you figure something out. I thought
that's going to be a tough one.
Technique.
You know what? I agree. And this weekend is going to be beautiful in Colorado. And I don't know what it's like throughout the United States and other states, but it's going to be the perfect time to do that. So get out on your back patio or go for a hike, because it doesn't have to be that you're sitting. You just need to be silent. So go do something. Pardon me. The other part is the last one. Number 3 is, minimize.
This one's right at you, Barb. This one's right at you.
Woo, it's going to be hard because I have this with me all the time. Okay, so minimize screen time, reading magazines. And the reason why she said magazines, which is so true, unless for me, I think unless like it's a success magazine or entrepreneur or something that you're going to learn something from, or a book, that you're going to learn something from. The reason why she said don't read, for instance, the fashion magazines, style magazines, is because they're telling us how we should look different or age defy or whatever it may be. No, this is it. We're loving who we are. So you could go down that rabbit hole of not feeling good about yourself for some when you're reading some of these magazines about how we should be looking or feeling. All right, newspaper, social media. Oh, it's going to be hard getting off Twitter. Their time sucks. And I think we all know that by now. So maybe you just limit your time, much like you parents would tell your kids to do. You got to do it yourself. Yeah. So those are just ways, right?
Yeah. And I thought what was really cool too is that not only are they time sucks, but she also said that if you took stock of your energy before you started to go online and read all the social media or read the negativity about, body images in magazines, and then you measured your energy after you consumed that for an hour or however, long you'd been doing it, that you would see an actual change. And so not only time suckers, but they're also energy suckers apparently too. So that's why you kind of got to limit how much you're exposed to it.
And you know what? One of the things that we did for our, which I'm going to go ahead and post inside the bigger group but for the insiders is I am silly. You know, I create this this monthly list, you know, of things to do or things that are coming up. So, you know, here is the November list of things to do.
I love the background on it, girl. You designed a
right?
Really yeah,
it's the background all over. So, you know, harvest berry mani pedi. Yeah, it seems silly to do this, but guys, you know, decide on your 2021 book club readings. Create a list. Simmer. Okay, this sounds old school, but simmer some mulled wine. Never had mulled wine before, but I found it.
You gotta just go buy some.
right. Create a holiday playlist. Get ready for the holidays. Celebrate Small Business Saturday. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Trim the Christmas tree. Now, I don't know. Do you guys normally do it in November? I usually do it in December, but let's do it in November.
Yeah, I hike out usually after Christmas, and we'll go to the mountains and actually cut one down. And we have it up at the weekend after, which is actually a blast. If you live in a place where you can get tree permits, that is a really cool thing to do with friends or family or whatever.
I might have to go in on you with this.
And it's only like
a Charlie Brown tree.
Well, okay, so yeah, you have to hike in to find a really good one, because if you stay on the perimeters, it doesn't work. But like literally, it ends up being only like $10 plus gas or whatever, right? But usually you go to like a Home Depot and it's like $60.
Take a step back. Did you say hike in?
Yes, darling.
I will be going to a tree lot.
Hey, didn't Dr. Finney say you needed to go out and get more fresh air? I'm just saying.
Oh, Tracy says that simmered mulled wine. Girl, I don't even know what simmering mulled wine means, to be honest with you. I was going to try it, which is why I put it on this. What is it?
I have no idea. Maybe we should have someone like do a demo and we do like a little happy hour or something around it. Maybe I
think that would be lovely. Just lovely. And I think we do need another. I'm feeling better. I'm out of my mood. I'm emceeing tonight. I'm feeling better. Okay. Yeah, this has been a good conversation. Lupe, what else do we have? We were going to talk about swiveling careers.
Yes. But I know we're coming to be honest. So, and you know what, actually, the challenge actually that I'd love to actually jump into is what we're going to be doing later on in Facebook. And so we were having a fabulous call with Nigel Simpson, who is an amazing gentleman that we met from Disney, who has since been furloughed, but is now doing some really cool things for his community of ex-Disney workers that have either been furloughed or have been let go. Okay, we'll come back. And so anyway, we were talking to him yesterday, and in the conversation, he said, you know what's been really beautiful over the last 2 weeks that's really kind of impacted me is that he has been receiving thank you notes, calls, emails, text message. Oh, snap. No, you didn't just put on your Disney.
We're talking Disney.
Okay. I don't have any. So I'm going to let you channel the magic, the Disney magic. And anywho, as we were talking, he's like, these are people that, maybe he came across and helped 10, 20 years ago, or some so recently as, last week, that we're sending him all these thank you notes. And he just, the way that his face lit up when he was talking about the thank yous that he was receiving, like inspired Barb and I to actually launch a little thank you campaign that we're going to challenge all of you ladies to help us get to. Later after this call, after this segment, we're going to post a string onto the SecondActWomen Facebook page, where we're going to invite you to actually post who you're thanking. It can be one person, it can be 5 people. The goal is to get to 100 by the end of the what would it be? By the end of the week? By next week?
Yeah.
By next Friday? By next Thursday? Yeah. We'll give it 1 week. By next Thursday.
Yeah, so we can talk about it on Thursday's show, because we're talking with Erica Ryder of Oak Tank, so it's like perfect.
Yes, perfect. And so you have to go out and do the thank you. So whether that's the send the card, email, or whatever it might be, but then in our post, you just say, hey, I thanked so-and-so for X, and this is why, how did it impact you? We want to create some great just vibes in our community. And I think that we thought that would be a really cool way to do that.
Yeah, agreed. Just to get us out of our own heads and really thank the people think about it. You can make somebody's day, just like Nigel's day was made completely out of the blue when that person had said that he had made a change in his life, 20 years back even. So I love that. We could talk about swiveling careers the next time. That saves you from having to create another topic.
Love it.
But this has been good. I'm excited for the day now.
All right. I'm glad to hear that, work wife, because, I love you. And I know that we also have, we do a lot together. And sometimes, the road is going to get rough. But I am truly blessed to have you. And I'm just grateful that we can have these conversations, in this case, with our whole community watching, where we can work our stuff through and show that, you know what, life's not perfect. Even though we're doing some pretty awesome things, it's not always perfect, and that's okay. But you'll see that we're being real, and we invite you to get real with us whenever you need to.
Absolutely. And I love you too. Work wife, work sister, whatever it is. And that we are calling each other today. Oh, my glitter. I know. Thank you. This was because if you're just joining us, we were talking about Disney. And I got these at Charmin Charlie's for like $20 way back when.
Charmin Charlie's was a cute little place.
Right. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. And next week, we're just going off script entirely. We're going to meet with Erica Ryder with Hope Tank right here in the middle of Denver, Colorado. And I'm excited for us to bring her on the show. She's been a big supporter of ours, and she's got some really exciting things that she's launching. And thank you, Dina, as well, and for always being a part of the tribe and taking part. All of you, Cheryl, Tracy, we just appreciate all of you, and you make our day. You make our day, right? So I guess that's it for today's show. Oh, I do have a Thursday thought. This is from Emma Stone. So and I think this is a good one. We have to remember this. Right. She said, I can't think of a better representation of beauty than someone who is unafraid to be herself.
Aww.
So let's not be afraid to be ourselves. We are who we are, and we should love who we are.
Absolutely. Beautiful way to end it. Oh my God. It was like you. It was like Kismet.
Kismet. I love it. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us this morning. Have a blessed day. We will have Doris Kassab, formerly with HBO, 28-year veteran, VP of Film and Production for HBO. She joined her second act and reached out to Lupe last year about what we were doing. So we'll have her join us in probably next week sometime with a special Morning Cup. And we just wish you the very best. Take care of yourselves, everyone. And here is peace ahead.
Amen to that. All right, ladies, go out there and have a beautiful rest of your week, and we'll see you here next week.
Bye.
Bye.